Welcome to Ingredient Insiders. I'm John Magazzino.
And I'm Andrea Parkins.
Thanks for watching this clip of our interview with TV star and Chef Maneet Chauhan.
For the full episode, find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Links in the description below. And then what brought you to the United States? How did you end up here?
Like I told you, my parents said, do whatever you want, make sure you're the best at it. My older sister, she went to an engineering school. Every time I would go to meet her, I realized I was the most popular kid on campus because I would take food. And I'm like, hey, this is amazing. Right. Something that I love. Maybe this is what I should, do pursuing my career. And at that time, there weren't culinary schools per se in India. And our parents have been very adamant about the fact, like they keep on saying that we come from a middle-class family. And the biggest thing that we're going to leave for you is a good education. And it's up to you to make the best of it. So I did my undergrad in India in hotel administration. Believe me, at that time, I'm like, why am I wasting my time doing this? I want to just learn how to cook.
Right.
I love the fact that I did it because now as a restaurant owner, it helps so much.
You get that managerial business side of the business.
Absolutely. Because you realize cooking is such a small facet of everything that you do in running a business. And then in my final year when I was doing my undergrad in India, I asked my chef instructor which was the best culinary institute in the world to go to. And without even batting an eyelid, he's like, Culinary Institute of America. So that's what I did. I applied for it. I came here 1998 in December.
You're very young. Okay, keep going.
Right. Yeah. I'm like literally my sister, I landed in Chicago and my sister came to pick me up. She had just gotten a job. And she had the previous 2 weekends, she had practiced to drive to downtown. And when I landed, she took me to downtown Chicago to Shed Aquarium. I opened the door. I had never felt this kind of cold in my life. I shut the door. I'm like, can we just go back? It was so cold. But then she also, as soon as I landed, she took me to Chili's.
Okay, right? The American, all-American experience.
And I ordered a margarita. You're like, parents aren't here, we can drink. Yes, let's do that. We are old enough to do that. And there comes a margarita in a bucket.
I was going to say the size of your face.
I looked at it and I'm like, I'm never leaving America. This is what it's all about. Like, I have arrived.
Where the tequila flows like water.
Know. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
And so you went to the Culinary Institute of America in New Hyde Park?
In Hyde Park,
Hyde Park. I'm saying Hyde Park. And then how'd you end up in Nashville?
So, I graduated from the best hospitality school in India. Graduated from the best culinary institute in the world, right? The world is my oyster. Yeah. Like, I am set, right? Yeah. I'm like, this is fantastic. But I had come on a trade visa at that time. Like CIA, they didn't do a student visa. They would do a trade visa, which was an M1 visa. And at that time, it, in our industry, it wasn't very prevalent to sponsor paperwork, right? Now, if I was an engineer and a doctor, it wouldn't have been a problem. Right. But this was crazy. So I applied for jobs. I got some incredible job offers from incredible chefs. But as soon as I would go ahead and say that, hey, I needed my paperwork, I needed my visa processed, everybody would be like, because they weren't familiar with what the process was at that time. Until that time, I wanted to be a pastry chef. Right? Because in India at that time, you did not have the quality of pastries that you had over here, right? I wanted to make cakes, that's what my jam was because I hadn't seen that happen in India. And I'm like, this is fantastic. So at that time, I'm like, should I go back to India? In India, there weren't those many opportunities which were available, right? Should I go to Canada? There were all of these conversations going on. And my uncle and aunt, they were opening an upscale Indian restaurant in Cherry Hill, right? Very close to Philadelphia.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Yeah. And they go ahead and they're like, listen, while you're looking for a job, if you want, you can come and work with us, right? We need somebody who knows this industry because they weren't from the industry. And it would be helpful for us. It could be a couple of months. You get something, it'll be really helpful for us. Well, 4 years later, right? I was over there. And to me, I think it was a very pivotal point in my journey as a chef. Because at that time, I realized the very sorry affair or perception of Indian food in this country, right? It was $8.95, all you can eat,
Right.
greasy buffets.
Yeah.
And the first time I had taken some of my friends to have Indian food, I was so excited. I'm like, I just come from India. I'm like, guys, we've got to try this. And we go to the restaurant and they are eating the food and they're like, yeah, that's nice. And I'm like, no, this isn't.
They didn't get it.
This
It wasn't
is
that.
really
Right.
bad,
Right.
right? And you think about it, and there's a reason why, right? When like immigrants came over here, this was what they knew. They had to feed their family, so they were using the cheapest products, the fastest way of cooking. So of course, the end product wouldn't be as amazing as what I've grown up with.
Yeah.
So that is literally when I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. This is a cuisine that I know. This is a cuisine that I grew up with. This is a cuisine that I'm very proud of, right? Shame on me if I do not use that platform. So that is literally when that switch happened. And it was amazing because from a 70-seater, we, grew to 50-seater overlooking the Cooper River. Like it was a beautiful, just evolution and how we were getting the food to the forefront. And it was beyond the chicken tikka masala. We would do chaat nights and we would do South Indian nights or Hyderabadi biryani nights, or like it was a lot. And I really got to play and show off the diversity of Indian food over there.
And that's awesome because you had fine culinary training, right? The best in the world. You were already clearly ingredient driven.
And you saw the opportunity.
Really had the opportunity to elevate Indian cuisine in the United States.
Is the restaurant still there?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
It isn't.
I live in that area, so I'm like,
Andrea's trying to...
yeah, trying
where
Can I
should
get a
I
reservation
go?
for
Right,
tomorrow?
yeah.
I know.
So, and then from New Jersey, what was the next step?
From New Jersey, I went to Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago, there was a restaurant over there called Vermilion. The owners had the idea of a Latin and Indian fusion, and global fusion has always been something very close to me because that's how I eat, right? Like it's just to take the best of all the worlds, and my cooking is it's very fluid in the way that it's very inspired from my environment around, right? The foundation is Indian, right? But I get inspiration everywhere. And so that was, they had, like, the story is that they had interviewed over 40 chefs, all men. And they are like, this is what our idea is. And none of them could kind of translate that idea on the plate, and I did. So I worked with them in Chicago for around 4 years, then went to New York, opened, an outpost over there, worked there for another 3 years or so.
4 years seems to be your cadence everywhere. Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And then
Which is long for
It is
a
long.
chef.
Like that's what I'm
Usually
saying.
people 1 year, 2 years,
Right.
boom,
Yeah.
next.
Like you really invested in each place.
And to me at that time, I was expecting my daughter. And I think it was, that was also a moment where I'm like, I need to do something of my own, right? I've put in my due. I have, gained a lot of experience. And now I need to open something of my own. And it was really interesting. I wrote a book, and Chopped had really taken off at that time. So I was getting all of these calls from across the country that, hey, do you want to open something over here? Seattle, San Francisco. And then in between, we get a call that, would you like to open a place in Nashville? And my husband and I, we are business partners. We actually met when we did undergrad in India, and just kept in touch over the years. And at that time, both of us, we turned and we looked at each other and we like, who the beep goes to Nashville? keep in mind, this was 12 years ago when Nashville was not as cool
Before it
as
exploded,
it is.
yeah.
As it is now, because I went there. I'm just kidding. But it literally was. But we are also the kind of people who explore each and every opportunity that comes our way. And that's what we did. We went to Nashville, fell in love with not only the city, but also the opportunity that the city afforded us, right? New York, Chicago, every second person is a celebrity, right? Celebrity will only take you that far, right? So the mileage of being a celebrity takes you much further in, in smaller towns.
Yeah.
But the idea still was to, open the restaurant. Vivek had businesses in New York, New Jersey area, and commute. Best laid plans. This is the South. The 6-month project, restaurant opening project, took around 2 years. Along the way, we found out we were expecting baby number 2. Baby number 2 decided to be born 3 months early, the day we opened Chauhan Ale and Masala House. So he was born at 5 in the morning, and 5 in the evening, we opened the restaurant. So Vivek and I, we joked that
You
we
weren't
had...
there.
I was going to say, were you there?
Yeah, I wasn't there. Apparently, he wanted to be a part of the opening, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think we'll be able to make it there, buddy.
Yep.
So that's basically what it was. And Vivek and I, we looked at each other. We're like, if he's so adamant in being a Nashvilleian, who are we to stop it?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So we, came to New York, wrapped up everything, moved over there. And then we found ourselves in a place, because we literally, when you're in New York, you think you're in the food mecca of the world. You've arrived, right? And we moved to Nashville, and we were like, okay, now we need to make the best of this.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We are like, okay, we started figuring out what the holes were in the culinary tapestry, whatever opportunities came our way. And 10 years. We just celebrated Chauhan's 10-year anniversary.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Ingredient Insiders.
You can find the products we discussed on today's episode at chefswarehouse.com or your favorite specialty retailer.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram @Ingredient Insiders and Chef's Warehouse @Where Chefs Shop.